Hello everyone, it is I, Ryan, also known as thelovebat, and I'm continuing on in this nice Let's Play of Pathfinder Kingmaker. And so last we left off, we were doing a bit of Thanksgiving Day episodes, and a bit more brief last episode, but was able to go ahead and get in a little bit of a Thanksgiving Day action before heading off to spend time with the family and do all the good things and just spend time with the people that you just like being around the most and that you truly love. And we haven't exactly come across companions in this game that we feel like we're going to truly love like family, at least maybe not yet. I guess Valerie and Lindsay probably seem most like those companions. We've learned a little bit about them, but maybe not, and maybe we haven't learned enough about them yet where we think, oh, we want to invite them to all the family gatherings and the Thanksgivings and the family reunions and the Christmas carols or all that stuff. But I think that we do have a bit of a motley crew here in our party, and we've been exploring Old Sycamore and the Old Sycamore Depths. Last session we were finally able to find the relic that we've been looking for the past several episodes. It was in the possession of the kobolds, or at least the relic that the kobolds had possession of. Obviously they had it. The one, I don't know, it's been a weird back and forth here about these relics. There's two of them, and you need them for the sacred chamber or whatever. And so, you've been kind of wondering, alright, well, kobolds claim that the mites stole one, and the mites are like, no, we didn't. And then it turns out the kobolds did have one. And so it's kind of wishy-washy of how that all worked. Maybe the underling kobolds just had no idea and they were being manipulated and misled. Maybe the kobolds just wanted a reason to fight the mites. Or maybe the kobold leader, Chief Suitscale, that we fought last session and spared their life, maybe they just wanted an excuse to fight the mites and take the entirety of Old Sycamore for themselves, and maybe Tartuk showing up was just the opportunity for them to do that. I have no idea. We didn't really learn a whole lot about why Suitscale decided to declare war. And we don't really know how he came in possession of the relic again. Maybe Tartuk gave it to him behind the scenes and decided, here we go, we actually have it, but our underlings don't know that we have it, so let's have them keep fighting. I don't exactly know the details. I don't quite remember from my first playthrough either exactly how that all went down. Maybe if we find Tartuk and we beat it out of him or something, maybe he'll explain it. I don't know. It's kind of wishy-washy how the kobolds got one of the relics back, even though they claimed it was stolen in the first place. So we don't know what's going on there. Obviously Tartuk has something to do with all of it, but we don't know how or why or whatever. We know what Tartuk's motivations are. He wants to find some ancient artifact or relic that he was searching for in a tomb before, didn't find it, or didn't find all of it, and now he's looking here for it. But we don't know what Suitscale's motivation for that would have been, why, We know that Tartuk is very selfish and he wouldn't do things for the benefit of a kobold tribe, so we kind of know what his motivation is. But what would Suitscale want to backhand the mites for? What's the motivation there after they've been a semi-ally with them before all this? So we kind of don't know exactly what's going on in that regard, but we do know what we're looking for. And we got to go back and find Tartuk at the Sacred Chamber on one of the higher levels. But before that, we really need to probably rest up, because if we can't even defeat these skeletons, then I'm assuming that any encounter with Tartuk would probably be even worse. So we're going to have to go ahead and find a spot to rest up and go outside. And I don't know if we're going to fight the skeletons just yet, but we're going to go ahead and maybe after we find Tartuk and deal with him, I imagine, then maybe we'll give the skeletons a try and see if we can find out what's in that area of Old Sycamore up there. We had a tough time trying to defeat those skeletons last session. And so I just figured, okay, well, if we're not going to be able to defeat them, if they're just going to try and bypass Valerie every single time we fight them, then we're going to need to recoup, and we're going to need to make use of a spell like Grease, which is what we did in one of our previous skeleton fights. Just prevent the skeletons from being able to run back there and get a hold of all of our guys. Because we would normally be able to cast Grease with Lindsay here, but unfortunately we just do not have the resources for that right now. So it is time to just go ahead and get some rest. I don't really want to, but I wanted to make use of Jathel's resources here, but apparently we're not going to be able to, so we'll just have to deal with it. And I like to do a quick save before resting, because being able to get some of the resting bonuses can be very helpful, and plus, you know, I like to just make sure that in case we get attacked in the middle of the night, then we can reload a save if necessary. Alright, I think that's good. We don't really care about camouflage as long as we have a guard to wake us up. And I guess we care more about the hearty meal and the saving throw bonus than we do about hunting, I think. Alright, let us rest.
Haven't you seen enough death? Been the cause of so much death that you've thought about what awaits you?
What's there to think about? I'll live while I'm alive, and when I'm dead, it's the end. I'll go to Gorham's feast.
Well, I guess we kind of know a little bit about Amiri's thoughts on the afterlife, or thinking about life after death, I suppose. And of course, I bet there's lots of philosophical discussions about that, so 22 hours is quite a long time. Okay, well, we're taking a while to go ahead and clear this place, which is unfortunate, because we are on a timer with our quest type things, with our journal here. I mean, we haven't taken too much time. I think it was 90 days originally, and we still have plenty of time in the long run. But I really like to take as little time as possible while I'm doing these things, at least in the early part of the game where you are on a strict sort of timer to get things done. So we'll try and get things done a bit more quickly. And we'll see what we can do here. But at the very least, we were able to succeed on the knowledge roll check there. So we got our good old saving throw bonuses, and Valerie is going to get an armor class bonus with the next fight that we have. So we have to decide, do we want to go after Tartuk and get the AC bonus with that fight, or do we want to go ahead and fight the skeletons and get the AC bonus of that fight? I'm not sure if the AC bonus is going to be as useful fighting like kobolds or whatever, which I assume will be with Tartuk. It just really depends on, you know, what your preference is there. But I think that for now, the best way to use this bonus AC is probably to fight the skeletons first. Because Tartuk is a spellcaster, I don't know how much AC is going to matter for him, or for fighting him. I assume that's what we're going to be doing anyway. I don't see why we wouldn't. And we have lots of healing to do here.
Grotus awaits us.
So since our group needs healing, let's go ahead and heal up now. I could channel negative energy to try and deal damage to the undead, which is something that I can do. You know what, I might just do that instead, and we'll just go ahead and deal with some of these pre-battle buffs. So I want to decide what I want to use here. So I guess we could use protection from alignment and shield of faith on Valerie there. Do protection from evil on you.
Yes, I'm still
Then
here.
you can use shield of faith on her. And then, well, I guess we don't want to use shield of faith just yet because the duration isn't quite as good. So let's go with let's just do the standard ones here. The standard pre-battle buffs.
Patience.
And then do that.
Adventures.
I want to do these cantrips first because they're the most likely to be used up early in the fight, and then the longer or the leveled spell type stuff,
Near.
I'll cast those last
I
so
wrote
that
it
way
like I
they
saw
last
it.
throughout the entire fight, hopefully. Guess we'll heal Valerie a bit. And then we'll do resistance and guidance here. Oh, not you.
You have my attention.
And I guess you can go ahead and cast this on people, so have you do that, and then you do that. It does take a bit to do this, but the main reason I'm showing it is just to show you what the game is like in actual play. For the most part, sometimes I'll skip ahead to different spots if I need to, like, find a location or something that I may have missed that may take a bit. But this, I know how long it's going to take, and it's going to show you kind of what you put into the strategy before a fight. And then now I think we'll go ahead and do Shield of Faith on you.
Share your will.
Don't think anyone else is going to need that temporary hit point, or I don't think it's really going to be helpful at least. Then you've already cast Shield of Faith. We'll also give Harim a bit of protection from evil.
Well, sorry, was lost in thought.
Just letting the ink dry.
And then you will cast some Bless. Alright. And then we'll use a bit of Divine Favor here. Don't know how you can use the judgments. I might want to go into the character screen here and see how the judgments are used. Oh. Okay, pronounce judgment. Okay, so you can just activate it, and you have to be in combat to activate it. Okay, so that's why they're kind of grayed out. So once combat starts, you can use a judgment. That's good to know. First, I didn't know that that was a distinction he had to make. He had to be in combat before he could use it. So that's good to know. We'll do Destructive Smite with you as soon as you can get him in.
Yes.
Not sure if we'll bother fighting defensively with Harim because we want him to try and hit with an attack. Excuse me. And then I think we'll get you with your staff here just because we need you to try hitting.
Speak.
We're going to rely on Grease trying to hit them, basically, and trying to get them to fall down so that way our guys can just start getting in with them.
Everywhere I go, a pall hangs over everything.
Oh,
But
indeed,
people said it
Harim.
was better before I arrived.
Okay.
I'm listening.
And then, oops, I keep on hitting that by accident. I just hate that. Later in the game, it may not be quite as attracting because we're just carrying just a crap load of loot right now. And later on, that won't be quite as much of a problem when we can offload some of it into storage somewhere. But for now, we have to deal with that. We'll need you to do that. So I think we've got as many of our pre-battle buffs going here as we can probably get. And Hareen can channel he can channel positive energy to damage undead. It could end up damaging Jaethel here, but at this point I don't care. I'm gonna have to live with that. And then she can go ahead and disrupt undead, so maybe she can just stay far enough away during that channeling energy to not get hit by it. Because we really need that to work. We just need our channel or disrupt undead to work here. Because that's... I was trying to rely on that last time, but it just couldn't kill them quick enough. So we're going to have to work with Grease here and try and have that take care of them as much as possible.
I will grant your request.
Come on, Mary, what are you doing? I gotta get you up there. Alyrra, you can stick back
Let us
here.
press on.
Alright, let's have everyone stop. Mary, you get over
And
there.
Lindsay was called forth.
You get over there. Okay. Quick save. Now that we're in position, we got all of our buffs ready to go. Let's see if we can do it. Now, I might want to switch weapons out first. Might be preferable. Let's just switch out the weapons here. We probably want blunt weapons against these guys. We haven't got any other weapons so far that I think are going to help us, so those are what we have.
Give the order.
Alright. And then maybe Lindsay needs to be up further so she can cast Grease here.
I am yours to command.
You hold. Now we'll save, because I don't know how many times we're going to have to do this combat. I'm just
Don't
trying to get
hesitate.
everyone primed in position before we do it.
Who will prevail? Does it matter?
So if you do that first thing, and let's have you hold position here until we get Valerie going first.
Unworthy.
And have you hold position until we grease them. No, Valerie. We want you to get it back there a little bit, because we want to be able to hit the skeletons with grease, but miss Valerie getting hit by it. I don't care
Let
if
us
Valerie
strike
gets
as
hit
one.
once or so. I think we'll be okay if she gets hit maybe once. But we really need to hit with this and not hit Valerie. Alright. We need to get it back as far back as possible so she can't get hit. And then if she walks in further in to fight them, then she's not going to get hit. So that's what we need to do.
Do not falter.
Okay. Alright, so now we want to, I guess we want to focus down one of these guys. So have it be them. Reem, you go over there first. Now you're going to rage and you're going to charge in. There we go, she got a good hit in. Jaethel, you're going to attack them. Alyrra, I think we're going to save Smite Evil for the fight with, I assume, Tartuk later. I'm going to save all these other resources for that fight. Whoops. So we're not going to have you use any of your stuff. We're going to rely on grease here. So if we can take care of them for the most part, then we should have this in the bag. And then we're going to need to get Jaethal out of range of that after she does this attack. I mean, we may not even need to use it if we can kill them right now. Alright, so we got rid of one of them. So we may not... Yeah, grease is super good against these guys, so we may not even need to use the channel undead thing. The damage undead with the channel divinity thing there. Dexterity is not their strong suit. I don't care if she gets hit by one attack. Harim, you get out of there. Alright, now we want Harim to fight defensively a bit more. Stop using the smite. I think we'll be okay without it.
Repent! Your life ebbs low.
Okay, and then let's have you charge in there to get him. Okay, well that didn't work so well, but that's okay. Keep on hitting him with Disrupt Undead. Hopefully we can get some hits on him. And we got him. So the secret to beating these guys was grease. Grease was basically disrupting them quite a bit because their dexterity does not seem to be all that great. Trying to look through here to see if I can see what their dexterity saves are. So yeah, it's only a +2 modifier, so failing the dexterity save is actually pretty good. For us, at least. It's a decent chance that they'll fail the save each time. Alright, so now that we're done with that, I actually want to... Whoops. We're still in the grease, so let's get them... Oh, let's get you guys out of there. Then I want to go ahead and check and see the encyclopedia here. Bestiary. Because you do have a bestiary that fills up a little bit as you fight monsters, I believe. Skeletons... Okay, so I thought that you would get... Like, as you inspect them, I thought that you would end up getting additional, like, statistical information that you could look at in the bestiary. Instead, here's just, like, lore information. I was wondering if I could take a look at some of their stats there, because I want to be able to... Like, there's an inspect tool right here, but I don't know if you can... Alright, so I guess you can do it for monsters that are already dead. I just want to right-click here. No, not that one. There we go. I wanted to see what these guys have at their disposal, because they were pretty tough to fight. So they have power attack, pretty good initiative bonus, not too great dexterity or dexterity saves, so grease was definitely the answer there. And they do quite a bit of damage. The one with the great axe does like 1d8 plus 12 or something ridiculous like that. So, yeah, being able to get in there, get them prone, make it easier to hit them, and then make it to where they can't just keep on laying attacks into us left and right, definitely helped us out quite a bit. They have a pretty good AC here. Their touch AC not quite as good. And so I don't know if knocking prone causes them to have much lower AC, easier to hit, but touch AC is good for Disrupt Undead because it targets this AC instead of these, so that like halves their AC. So that's definitely something that helped us out there. I mean, I'm surprised that we had an easier time dealing with those guys than I thought we would. But apparently Grease just makes the fight that much easier. Jaethel. Alright, so they got pretty good on their Arcana check to, I guess, recall information about them too. So that's good. Alright, so I don't know if I need to wait for Grease to wear off, but ooh, they have half-plate armor. So that's part of why they had such a high AC, and they have a great axe. So we got some... I'm glad that we did this fight, because now we got some great armor for Harem with the half-plate. It's not as good as the full plate, but all things considered, it's going to give him 2 extra AC. And then we also have the tower shield for him, since I got him the tower shield specialist class here. He's going to want one of these, so let's get him that. His encumbrance is pretty big, but he has just enough strength, just like Valerie, to where it's not going to be any more than medium encumbrance. And his AC, before, his AC was 18 with these, without fighting defensively, of course. And then with it, it goes from 18 up to 23. So that's a pretty big difference at this stage of the game. So I'm glad that we got some good gear here for him. The weapons are kind of irrelevant because I don't think we're going to use those. So we're just going to carry on here, and then we're going to find out what's in there.
Anything is possible.
Lindsay, you can hopefully get past the Grease okay with your dexterity. So we found a dog tag and some pretty good loot. A potion of remove curse is pretty expensive, so we could probably sell that. We can probably get magic to do the same thing later. I'm just going to try and get everyone in here because I just want to see if there's any perception checks that need to be made, even though people are probably going to fall down. Okay, so we find half plate plus 1, which I suppose will be instead what Harem's going to wear. The reason I'm doing it this way is because Harem won't get a dexterity bonus, but Valerie can. So Valerie can get that 1 dexterity bonus with the full plate. So I'm going to keep the full plate on her, and this half plate is just going to go to Harem here. A +1 Tongi, which is an exotic weapon, which means that unfortunately we probably won't be able to use this. And it's not a finesse weapon either, so it's not something that my character is going to be able to use. Good for critical hits, as you can see. And it's a one-handed weapon, but it's more of a specialty weapon, so we're probably just going to sell it. Alright, let's see if there's anything else over here. Let's get over here. I'm just doing this to see if there's any perception checks to be made, as is common in many areas of the game. So I just want everyone to get in here just to be sure that there's nothing else that we're not finding. Because Harem, as poor as his dexterity saves are, he is very good at perception, so I like getting him in there if possible. Come on, you two, it's not that hard. Crawl over if you have to. Jaethel and Harem, come on now. Okay, and I guess while we're waiting for that to deal with, we're going to get people back to their original weapons here. You're going to do that. You're going to use your longsword once again. If we got something like a dwarven weapon for Harem, we could probably use that. Thankfully, we saved a lot of our healing, so we didn't have to heal up before or after that fight, and we didn't have to channel the energy to deal damage to the skeletons because we could just grease them and then disrupt undead, and our melee attackers would put in work.
I am your shield.
So we don't want to have you doing disrupt undead anymore. I think going in with your scythe and doing things might be acceptable. Otherwise, acid splash would be reasonable too. So now it's time to go back up, and we're going to go ahead and track down Tartuk. And I assume he's probably in that sacred hall that we have to go to with our Might Relic. We might talk to the Might Queen first and show them that we have the relic from the kobolds. Maybe something will happen there. Yeah, these loading screens, even though, I mean, there are quite a few loading screens, but at least they made the loading screens kind of more tolerable by having just nice pictures of, you know, background artwork type stuff there, or environmental type things from the game that you can kind of look at, and then little, you know, text things down there for you to read or give you tips for the game or things like that. The only thing I guess that's maybe a downside for this game is that I wish that the characters would kind of run faster when you're not in combat. They're just at kind of a decent jog, but they're not really moving all that fast. So kind of wish that out of combat maybe they might go a little bit faster. Let's quick save the game again after winning that fight. Why are you going all the way around for that? Her Majesty, Warrior Queen Bada, welcome her ally, her chamber. Alright then, well, it is done. I have defeated Chief Suitscale. Sweet! I reward and honor you, ally. Now I ready big attack and cut all kobold. Only wait you catch Purple Hide. Okay, well, that's not exactly what I was expecting, even though I got plenty of money and experience for it. I wish I could just tell her, hey, you know, I'm here to stop the bloodshed, not draw more blood. So I only did it because the conflict had to end somehow, and peace wasn't really an option at the time. But okay, I guess technically that's optional. You can side with none of them and then kill all of them if you want, but I kind of wished I didn't have to side with any particular side, I guess. Alright, so let's do an actual save game here. Because I believe that we're probably at a very pivotal point of the game now. We're at kind of a crossroads. We have the relic to unlock that. And as I figured, we have a cutscene here. We have Tartuk with a portal.
My impromptu rival. You are late, as always. A little advice: never join any races. Speed is just not for you.
So I'm kind of wondering why it is he's switching back to his gnomish kind of accent, the gnome from P-Tax accent. So I guess Tartuccio is Tartuk, Tartuk is Tartuccio. Like, this guy has like multiple personality disorder going on here, and he's just you don't know what to expect with this guy. But we do know that we're here to bring him down. And so, the outline of an unknown artifact disappears in the portal, and Tartuccio turns to you. He still looks like a kobold, but seems to think it is useless to keep pretending. Alright, so what's with this disguise? You know, what is it with this jig?
Do you mean the performance I put on for the kobolds? Wasn't this an excellent idea? The poor folks did everything I wanted, even started a brawl with their beloved neighbor mites. I did not even need to make any effort to complete my mission. That is why I will always be a step ahead of you and the like.
Uh-huh.
And this is the person I nearly made the hero of my book? Ew.
Yeah, you might need to become a bit better judgment of character. Maybe, like, if you were ever considering Tartusio as the potential hero of your book at the beginning in the mansion, then, I mean, you live and you learn, I guess. But I wouldn't really expect anyone to think highly of him from first impressions. At least that's just me. You know, even just the way that he looks, which you even get a knowledge world check for in the opening conversation if your knowledge world check is high enough. Like if you have a high enough modifier on it, then you can kind of get a random number roll to get a dialogue option early in the game to be like, I don't look like anyone from PTAX, but he does. So that is actually a thing in the opening section of the game. I don't think we got that option because our intelligence is really poor, and we're not proficient in that kind of lore, but, you know.
Without a doubt, Vice does have its advantages. However, in the end, it always, you hear me? Always gets what it rightfully deserves.
I agree. Evil, you know, you get what you deserve. You reap what you sow sometimes. Draw the ire of those that are good and true, like paladins, then you're going to get what you deserve from Alyrra. So, I know you are a Pataxian spy, Tartusio, you arrogant little shit.
But you don't know my mission, and won't ever know because I will never tell you, even for the pleasure of seeing your discouraged face.
And of course, you know, that does make sense in character, but the writers of the game obviously aren't going to tell you so much early in this game. So, it's probably part writing device to hold the plot for you for later in the game, and also part way to have the character just be a total arrogant shithead, basically. So, on brand for Tartusio. What were you looking for here? Why did you need all of this?
Don't take me for an idiot. I am not going to tell you anything, even despite the fact that I am going to kill you. By the way, did you know I am going to kill you?
Well, did you know that I'm going to win because I'm prepared to win? So you should be prepared to lose, my friend. But even that said, I don't want to... Like, come on, we can settle this. I don't think we need to fight. Let's resolve this peacefully. I expect him to fight anyway, but I'm going to kind of offer the hand for that, knowing that we're probably going to fight no matter what.
We do, Dimwit. We really do. You know too much. And truth be told, I am simply tired of you.
Yep, so he simply wants to fight because he's just tired of us being on his tail all the time. Let's see if he has the guts to actually face us this time, because the previous two times he ran away like a scared little child. First in the tomb, then after we chased him out of the tomb, and we saw through his disguise. Yeah. So third time's the charm, apparently. So we got some archers back there. Alright, so how do we want to start this then? I do think that a well-placed grease is probably going to be very helpful once we get everyone engaged in here. So let's see if we can get this going over here. As close to Valerie as possible without hitting her. Valerie, you are going to hold position so you don't get caught in the grease. Harim, you're going to go ahead and channel some energy. You're going to get a bit of that going. You're going to go ahead and swap over to your sword. Hold position for now. We'll try and deal with these guys as soon as we can. And then you're going to use glitter dust as much as possible to cover this area. And then you... what should you do? So all these guys are evil, so protection from evil might do pretty good here. We do have to touch her though. So she has to go up and touch Valerie to cast it. So let's see if we can do that. Alright, now that we've done that, let's try and do Smite Evil on Tartusio to see if we can take him out as soon as possible. Now that you've done with that, let's cast Bless. Oh, not Shield of Faith. We want protection from evil on Valerie here. Alright, so we have that going then. Let's take care of the sentinel here. And then I guess we want to do a judgment, because it looks like Tartusio's casting Fireball, so we might have more of them. We definitely need to cast Protection from Alignment first, though. So let's do that.
Forgive me for this failure.
Alright, so Fireball basically killed all of us, but also killed all of them. We just did not have enough hit points to survive all of that. Yeah, at our low health, that would have been a bit difficult. Alright, so let's have you, excuse me, see if you can win here. Unfortunately not, because Fireball is just very, very tough to deal with. So, this is something that's going to require pre-battle buffing, which I kind of forgot that you would be sucked into a cutscene well outside visual range with them.
Let us press on.
Usually you at least get the opportunity to,
State your desire.
yeah, to try
Here
and
I am. See.
get into visual range before you get sucked into a cutscene. So in order to tank the fireballs, like I don't know if we need to just stick back with some people. At the start of the fight, maybe we'll just try and have them fireball Valerie, maybe. I don't know if we have like any potions or scrolls that might help against fire. Protection from evil communal could be helpful. Yeah, like I said, there's not a whole lot that we have that can help against fire. We have resist acid, but no resist fire here. Alrighty, so that's going to be a bit of a problem because we have no way to deal with fire. I mean, we can give a bonus to the saving throw with the protection from evil, but I mean, there's only so much that that can do. It might be able to halve the damage, maybe. I mean, her reflex saves are pretty decent, so hopefully we can get enough healing in here before the fight.
Sorry, was lost in thought.
I don't know, maybe a resistance cantrip could also be pretty helpful here against fireball. I think that maybe a composite longbow might be better here for the damage aspect of it, because she has a pretty good strength for the damage. And this adds a bonus to weapon damage rolls. Don't know if maybe we just want resistance for that, in case she gets hit by fireball. Yeah, I'm just trying to think here. I think we definitely want Valerie to get lay on hands here. We definitely want to heal everybody. We definitely need more healing than that, though.
Let us not hesitate.
So if Valerie goes down, we are in rough shape here, so we definitely need her to take at least one fireball. Remove fear. I don't know if fear is going to be all that prominent here. I think we're mainly going to be dealing just with the fireball, because that's going to basically kill all the kobolds before they kill us. So I don't know if we want to... I don't think we're going to need any of that magic necessarily. But we do really need for Valerie to be able to tank at least one of the fireballs. Yeah, I don't know if there's much else other that we need to cast here. Maybe a bit of protection from evil on her for the saving throws here. And then I guess Harim, if he goes into melee, he'll need some AC and saving throws.
I am yours to command.
And then you, I guess, can probably cast Bless, maybe.
Well,
Probably need to switch you to a bow for the beginning of the fight. Turn that off. Well, no, we don't need to cast Bless just yet. We'll just get the cantrips
What
going.
troubles you?
We're going to need these saving throws here for sure with these cantrips to start the fight. And then you are going to cast this for the hit points, which 1 hit point's not very much, especially later in the game, but for this section of the game, we're definitely going to need it. Alright, let's get all these cantrips going now. Alright, and then we'll get guidance on you. There we go. Whoop. And I guess we'll do Bless, and then we'll also go ahead and I don't know if we might do one more bit of healing here with Alyrra on Valerie. We just need her at as many hit points as possible.
Just letting the ink dry.
And we want everyone to get the saving throw bonuses here
Yes,
because they might get caught in
Stewie.
Fireball if it's big enough of a area of effect. I don't know exactly who he's going to try and target with the fireball. Probably Valerie, since she's in the front of our formation. I don't know if it'll just target her by default. But if it does, we want her to have as many hit points as possible for that.
I will see this through.
Let's do one more Channel Divinity there. And then let's get you going on that.
The end draws near.
And then we'll get you going on the plus action. Might switch you to your power attacking.
I will not falter.
And we might have you smite evil eventually after that first fireball goes through. So yeah, for the opening of the fight, we definitely only need... Well, we might do remove fear here. Just in case he has something up his sleeves after we get hit with fireball. Alright, now we're fully pumped up. I think it's time for a save game. And we're going to have to hope that this can carry us through here. We just need Valerie to survive one of the fireballs. Maybe after that first one we can find a way to get in there with her. After all the kobolds die to the fireball, which I imagine is going to be the case. Let's do it. Hopefully our duration of our stuff doesn't run out before this portal thing finishes.
Oh, my impromptu rival. You are late, as always. A little, do you mean
Yada yada
performance
yada,
I put on
you
for the
can run your
This is
mouth.
the person I...
Without a doubt. Vice.
But you don't
We'll
know
do all these
my
options
mission.
just in
Don't
case
take
it's
me
somewhat
for an
relevant.
idiot. I am not going to tell you, and we do, dimwit. We really do.
Yep, we're gonna
you know
fight
too
now.
much.
To victory!
to attack us?
Yes, we do dare to attack you. I'm not even going to bother with all these little guys. I am just going to move everyone as far back as possible. Because we only want Valerie being the one that gets hit by the fireball. Unfortunately, it looks like... Alright, so the duration... Yeah, so the duration of that seems to still be going, so that's good news. I guess it shows that he's casting fireball with that icon there. So we really just need for Valerie to get through to here and have the fireball go on her. I don't care about opportunity attacks here. I don't even care if she gets surrounded because her AC is just ungodly right now to evil creatures. With protection from evil, that should keep her pretty safe. And now that we're doing this, let's go ahead and take care of Tartusio here, and we're going to smite evil as well. I want you to keep your inspiration going as well. I just mainly want Lindsay to be close enough to give Valerie the bonuses. Alright, so we have a Kobold Sentinel over here trying to kill Harim, so we gotta switch Harim over to Sword and Board, which he is somewhat better built for now that he has better gear. We might want to have him go after this Sentinel though, so that way these other guys can get out of there. Alright, so Harim's got those guys. And Tartusio looks like he's in dire straits, I hope. So we're going to get in there because he just basically fireballed everybody, including himself. Now I think might be a good time to switch Amiri over to her cleaving action. And we're just going to have her charge in at Tortusio, who's still trying to cast spells there, but I'm hoping that our efforts will be able to stop him from that. Lindsay,
Serves
you
you
get in there.
right.
Jaethel, you're going to get in there. Harim, you're just going to have to hold it over there, since those guys are not as important as taking out...
Can we retreat now?
Got him! See, when they try and cast spells, you can end up getting opportunity attacks against them. So before they could get off the fireball, both Valerie and Amiri there, as you can see, got opportunity attacks against them. So that's why I wanted Amiri to get in there to try and stop that fireball from happening. Very nice, very nice. So we're doing a lot better this time around now that we know how to deal with the fireball there. Sometimes knowing your opponent and what's coming can be a big help. And sometimes going into a boss fight when you're not really super low on health is also very helpful. Unfortunately, the resting in this game isn't quite as forgiving as it is in other games where you regain a lot of health from resting. In this game, it's not quite so. You really have to make use of your healing magic and abilities to be able to heal during a rest. Alright, so quick save because we won that fight, and so again, I'll just take anything as a victory here that doesn't involve us just getting murdered. See what kind of gear and stuff that they have on everybody. Tortusio has a magic ring, a wand of magic missile, nice, and a broken crossbow here. So I wonder if we can restore that crossbow and get a nice magic item out of that, maybe. Oops, wrong button. We want to get all that. And I think that's everything for... I don't know if there's any perception checks to be made here. So I'll save it and see if there's any perception or lockpicking that needs to be done. Let's see. A pedestal of some sort formed by tangled tree roots. It seems that some long and narrow object rested here until recently. There's no sign of it now. So there's a long, narrow object that we assume that Tortusio was able to retrieve and send through the portal to his masters in Pitax. So that's probably the whole master plan that Tortusio was talking about there.
Godspeed.
Alright, so let's go ahead and we got some extra gear here, so let's see if we can find it and kind of equip it here. Ring of Protection will be very nice for that extra armor class. So I don't know if deflection bonus means that it doesn't stack with like Shield of Faith or something like that, or maybe it's just deflection bonus from gear doesn't stack. I'm not quite sure. But either way, it's a nice thing to have. And then we got a fragment of a crossbow, and then the wand of magic missile. Okay, so don't think that there's anything else over here then. Guess I can look back here and see if there's anything. Another token of the Dryad, and then... Alright, so that's not a lockpicking thing. Heavy shield +1, and we got some other loot goodies. I don't know if we're going to use the heavy shield, because we're probably going to use tower shields for people that use shields, but... Alright, so that's the thing we looked at before. Yeah, I don't know if there's anywhere else that we end up going to over here. But I guess we can tell the warrior queen about what happened and that they were all being manipulated, and so peace should definitely be an option here if we tell them that Tartuk was manipulating everyone and that caused everyone to fight each other. Alright. Our ally Brave have come back. Okay, so it actually gives you a green text here for the description of us allying with the mites. Our ally Brave come back! When you go, we defeat Kobold. War over not yet. You tell what happened, treacherous shaman. You find him? So we can lie or tell the truth. So I'll tell the truth, obviously, because that's usually what I'd want to do. Tartuk deceived everyone. It was he who stole the Sycamore branch from the kobolds to make war with the mites. And then he attacked me, and he was killed. Now I possess both sacred branches. I know, purple-hide traitor. My queen, I ask that you show mercy, and not pursue King Suitscale and his kobolds. They only attacked you because they were deceived by a traitor. The queen shakes her head thoughtfully. Was much death, hard forget bad blood, but I, wise queen, find other way. No kill kobold no more. Ally, you brave and fair. Be our guest precious now, always. Well, it's nice that there's at least one leader here that seems wise to at least listen to somebody. Even though they're out for blood, sometimes you have to listen to someone else and kind of consider their thoughts a little bit before you go out for blood, so... You're alright, Warrior Queen Bada. You're alright. So now we have decided the fate of the relics. They're going to share them once again. Now I don't know if in the journal, if we still need to do something with the kobolds, I guess. So let's see, we've done all that stuff. Yes, 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 I know. Alright, so now I know what we have to do. We have to go back to Keston Gares, who's at Oleg's trading post, and tell him about what happened here. That we found the traitor, we dealt with Tartusio, and that things are alright so far in the Stolen Lands, and we still have to deal with the Stag Lord, who we haven't really had a chance to get to just yet, but inevitably we're going to deal with him too. I assume that's what we're going to do anyway. I don't know if we need to talk to the kobolds or someone like that. Alrighty then, so all's well that ends well, I suppose. And we got some pretty decent loot out of all of that, so I'm quite pleased overall. We're going to have to offload a lot of this padded armor, which is taking up numerous amounts of inventory space, but that'll be alright, and probably quite a few spears as well. I believe that we've cleared everything out of Old Sycamore, unless there's some talking that needs to be done with the kobolds, even though I already talked with them, but... But I believe that our work is done here at Old Sycamore. On the surface, we can still deal with that lonely, shambling mound and allow it to rest in peace. And then there's that one camp place that if you rest in, then a will-o-wisp appears out to kill you that you're not anywhere near leveled for.
What a sorry spectacle. The treacherous servant of a treacherous king, who in his turn is mere servant to even greater powers. He impersonates a lesser creature and dies. A good joke is a powerful weapon, and a bad one can seal the Joker's fate. So be it. Rise, my unfortunate jester. Your performance is not over yet.
Baloney. Come on. Really? Why can't people stay dead? I mean, I know I'm one to talk because I'm using the Rise After Combat setting for combat, but if we didn't do that, the game would literally just end so very often and require so much save scumming to get through the game. So it would just be kind of nice that, like, come on. Throw us a bone here. We just defeated a very powerful foe, and you know, it'd be kind of nice if we defeated enemies that we didn't have to go through several different phases spread across 3 different encounters that are spread hours apart in the game or something. But that's just me. I mean, the Mysterious Stranger, you know, I mean, interesting concept and everything, but like, the game isn't really telling us a whole lot about all these insidious plots, but it's still shoving the insidious plots in our face. Excuse me, and the game is basically, you know, sort of like, you know, having this thing on a pedestal here, like, ooh, you can control the stolen lands, you become the Baron, and then all the insidious plots that are involving the stolen lands, the game just doesn't want to tell us because, hey, we can't tell you yet. It's not at that point in the story. Like, come on, you know. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and try and deal with this shambling mound, which was probably at too high of a level for us before, but we can probably fight it now, I'm betting. This might be a call for some of the acid splash to have an easy time hitting. And we'll do a slight amount of pre-battle prep here. Not too much, but some.
You have my attention.
Alright.
Well, sorry. Was lost in thought. Patience.
Wrong person. Alright. And then I think we're just going to go with
Lindsay was called forth.
a bit of bless. And so we just want to be able to put this thing out of its misery here, and because the person who went through all those experiments and such, they're probably suffering in some way, even if they're not entirely aware of their own suffering. We just want to lay their soul to rest as a paladin, I guess you could say. I don't know, maybe in the afterlife, maybe they can find a way to serve the greater good. Maybe they'll come back as some kind of spirit of some sort. Obviously, mechanically, I don't know if this has any impact on the game whatsoever, but from a thematic perspective, that's kind of the way that I'm feeling about it. So what's your AC right now? Still 33, but 33 I'm hoping should be good enough. I'm trying to figure out what the mound is doing as far as attacking here. Plus 11 modifier. So it needs a natural 20 to be able to hit her, so I'm okay with that. Reem might also get in there if it tries to bypass Mallory in some way. Alright, now it's doing the whole bypass thing, so now it's time for Harim to get in there with his halfway decent AC.
Repent!
And Harim just got smashed. Yeah, it just barely hit him. Yeah, we're going to need to get him some defensive feats to kind of help him out, so that way his dexterity isn't a big burden to getting hit all the time. So Acid Splash doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it's consistent damage that's very likely to hit, so we're just going to roll with that. Didn't realize I still had that turned on. I need to make better use of that. So we're getting there, I think. We're going to have to worry about him branching off again here pretty soon, so...
Unworthy.
Yep, there we go again. So let's have them go after someone that's hopefully faster here. There we go. I don't care if they hit Alyrra once or twice. I just want them to not go after everybody else, basically. Very nice. So unfortunately I used quite a bit of Inspire Courage on that because I kind of forgot about leaving that on, but I think we'll be okay.
Share your will.
Turn that off, and we'll see what the Shambling Mound had on them. An emerald worth 500 gold, and a silver pendant with the name Bertha engraved in it. So this is the same Shambling Mound that was referred to in the journals of that sort of that scientist, alchemist type person that was performing the experiment, named their experiment subject Bertha, and that it was becoming very obedient when we were reading those journals, and so that pendant means that this is the very same Bertha that the dead woman, the now dead woman, was talking about in her journal. So that's kind of confirmation there, even though it was pretty obvious after we read the journal that they were related. But that's kind of a nice little flavor that Owlcat Games, the developer, added in there to the sort of, it's not even a subplot, but it is a nice little encounter with a bit of flavor to it. Think of it like, you know, an appetizer that you order at a restaurant that has just, you know, nice flavor to it. Nice little things that are added in here and there to kind of make the meal more enjoyable.
Forwards.
And now coming up is the part where we're going to probably have to play some inventory Tetris here and decide what we're going to dump off, and then eventually maybe we'll come back and grab it at some point. Anything that's worthwhile. Because eventually we might come back and fight that will-o-wisp with that rest encounter. Alright, took a little while to save there for some reason, but maybe I should go ahead and save it in a fresh save game slot here, just to be sure. And now it's time to decide what we're going to drop. Alright, so all the... I don't know if there's a way to drop everything quickly from the inventory or not. I don't know. I don't know if you have to do them one at a time. Yeah, it is very tedious, but I'm not sure if there's a hotkey for it. Because, I mean, I looked through the hotkeys before. I don't know if I saw anything for that, and usually if there is a hotkey, it would end up being like Control or Shift plus clicking or something. Alright, so after I'm done dumping everything from the inventory, I'll pause the game here, and when I've unloaded everything from the inventory that I'm going to offload and not keep around, then I'll come back to the game and be with you all in just a minute. So give me a minute to offload everything, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I have returned, and I finally offloaded enough to not be encumbered, and to finish off the last bit of weight, I drank a couple of healing potions for some of my frontliners to just get a couple of hit points back while removing a bit from inventory at the same time, so that way we could just get under the weight limit here and still have a good amount of loot to sell back. We just had to get rid of most of our armor loot that we had, since I carried a lot of weight, and lots of the mundane weapons that we had we also got rid of as well. Alright, now let us go ahead and save our game after all of that. I don't want to have to go through the effort of getting all the inventory back again. And as you can see there, all the treasure that we offloaded is right there, so we can come back and pick it up sometime later. If we return to this area, we can pick up a lot of the valuable stuff there and just have it right at the edge of the map for us. And we're going to leave. We're not even going to bother with the loot for now. At one point we might come back for it if it's along the way somewhere. And then we might also do that battle with that will-o-wisp in the northern part of the map where there's that camp area. I believe that the will-o-wisp did lightning damage, so if we can find a way to protect ourselves from lightning and fear, then we can probably win that fight. We have some fear protection with our Paladin and remove fear from Lindsay, so we have some ways to deal with fear now, and we just need to find a way to deal with lightning damage. Alright, now we are back here, and so we're going to save the game, and I thought that what I might do here would be going to the Fangberry Cave for Bakken to deal with that and get his berries and stuff, but since we're right next to our weight limit here, I don't know if we're really going to want to do that, because then we're going to probably have to drop something and leave it at the Fangberry Cave and not come back for it. So what we're probably going to do is go back I'm going to Explore over here a bit, I guess. So there's a thing over there. And we'll come back and explore over in that direction. Now, if there's a random encounter, it's good for us to just fight them. Highly unlikely that in this area that there's going to be a random encounter that we can't handle. We'd probably need to go into a different region to encounter something that we couldn't really fight all that well.
Our time has come.
Might as well just do this.
Yes, I'm still here.
Done with waiting.
Alright, now let's get in there then.
One.
We don't have any uses of lay on hands, or we would deal with some of the fatigue that our party is dealing with here. Okay, well, so we want to use a bit of guidance here. On you. Maybe a bit on you. And then maybe a bit of inspire competence here. And I like the jig that Inspire Competence has. Yeah, that's a very cool song. Oh. I don't know if we need to move into range of these things to make Inspire Competence work during the check. We'll see. Skin, and we got them both. And it just shows you the flat modifier for it, but Jaethel did succeed on them. So we use Inspired Competence to give the bonus to a skill check there. And I guess Jaethel's wisdom is much higher than Amiri's, so for now, Jaethel has the higher nature check for now. How much did we get overloaded by? Oh, we're overloaded because we're fatigued. Well, damn. I didn't even think of that. I forgot that we would lose carry weight if we're fatigued. You know what, this is one of those few situations where I'm just going to go back here. And I'm just going to go back here and try and avoid the fight because I don't have any uses of lay on hands to get rid of the fatigue, which I would normally have, but we just got through a very big fight that we needed those hit points for, so... Yeah, so this is one of those few situations where I don't mind going back because, I mean, I shouldn't have to drop stuff just because I'm fatigued, and I don't want to have to spend time resting either without getting to Oleg's trading post first. So, you know what, in hindsight, you know, if it was tabletop, I'd just live with it or whatever, but in this game where you're just on a strict timer, I don't want to have to deal with all that. I don't want to have to drop a bunch of stuff just because I'm fatigued already. I'd much rather... I'm going to go the same route as before, but I'd rather just rest at Oleg's trading post and just have a chance to dump some of this stuff. And if we encounter something on the road, we're just going to try and avoid them. See, I don't feel bad about doing that. I mean, it's just the game mechanics that are just kind of screwing around with you, I guess. Like if you're fatigued and you're already traveling, you don't have to drop any of your loot. But then if you have a random encounter, then you do. How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense, right?
We should gather our strength.
And I just want to be able to sell off some of this stuff so that way we don't have to, you know, worry about the weight limit anymore. So... And now Oleg's coming up to talk with us, I believe. Listen, there's... Well... Since you dispatched the bandits with such skill, maybe you can help us with another problem. There's a feral swine living here in the woods. not a normal wild pig. We're talking about a vicious boar, as big as a bear and wicked as a devil. The locals call him Tusk Gutter. Many hunters have lost life and limb to him. Feckle Benson found his lair and went to kill the beast, but came back with one leg. He put a bounty on the boar's head, but it looks like there aren't any heroes around here bold enough to claim it. Maybe you will rid us of this monster. Amiri livens up. Hey, we're better than the local wussies, right? Wanna bet I can chop off this tusk cutter's snout with a single swing? Come on, let's find out. I'm gonna just give this kind of middle ground kind of answer and be like, don't you think we have enough to do without bothering with this Tusk Gutter? I mean, we're already dealing with the Stag Lord. We're dealing with bandits. We dealt with Tartusio. And unbeknownst to us, we as the player know that Tartusio was brought back to life because some asshole out there wants him to continue doing their bidding, I guess. Like, we don't know exactly who these forces at work are or what their motives are, but they want artifacts of some kind for some evil business, I imagine. The barbarian winces. Come on! Listen! They sent us here to make things right. Bandits is one thing, but we are still supposed to get rid of monsters too. And reward is a good thing, right? Well, it seems you're dead set on slaying this boar, Amiri. Is this something personal to you? Amiri looks aside. Well, not exactly. I tell you some other time. Probably. And now let's just go and slice that monster into bacon strips. Alright then, very well. Let's just go and kill Tusk Gutter when we have a chance. Amiri gives you a wide grin and slaps your shoulder. Right! That's the way I like it. Let's do it. Okay. So Oleg has another task for us to deal with. But we did end up getting the mushroom things that Bakken wanted, so we'll go ahead and give those to him before talking with Oleg and trading stuff, and then we'll talk with Keston Gress, who said he was supposed to be here, about what happened to Tartusio. Alright, so we have your moon radishes here, Bakken. Does this look like the radish you were looking for? Bakken's face brightens, and he rubs his sides in satisfaction. Yes, that's it! Hey, there's even more than I expected here. Thank you so much! Take this, you deserve it. So we got 200 coins, and we got 150 experience. Very nice. And so he told us before that he would tell us why he needed his things if we got him what he needed. So why do you need moon radishes? Bakken blushes heavily and coughs into his fist. That's for Oleg! He sprained his back last summer, you see. Tried to move a heavy chest all by himself. You can't even imagine the healing powers of these radishes. They make a great pain-killing ointment. Potent, exquisite. I just, painkiller, you say? Oleg would never confess his weakness to anybody, but I see him once every time he bends over to pick something up. The old man sighs, a bit too loudly. Oh, when will the poor man realize he's not 15 anymore? Oh, I think that's all of us, my friend. We all kind of wish we could go back to our youth when physical tasks were so much easier back in those days. Let's talk about something else then, and let's go. Well, let's see what he has. Show me what you have first. Maybe there might be something here that might be of some use to us now that we know some of the things that we might be facing out there. Yada yada. Don't think that's a book that we really need. Don't think we need any of the cooking ingredients right now. and we can usually find quite a few of them. Yeah, I don't think that we're going to really need any of this. We can probably sell him some of our Cure Light Wounds potions because we're bound to find more, and we have healing now. Plenty of it, so... And let's see, Bane. Caster level 1, I don't think we're really going to need that. Lead blades could be helpful, but I don't think that we're really going to need it. Don't know if there's anybody that's really going to be able to use it. I don't know if my character might be able to use it. I mean, I'll see if they can... Well, I don't think that I'm going to be able to use it. I have to get used magic item, and that would cut into my skill points. Wand magic missile, that could be useful. True strike, probably not useful for us, so we'll probably... I don't think we have anyone that's going to really make use of it, so we're just going to sell that off here. Protection from law, don't think I'm going to need that. Maybe I might keep the scrolls around because they're just not very heavy for encumbrance if I ever want to keep them around. I can also put them in storage so I'm not just holding on to them forever. And we'll sell one of those. I guess anything that we have multiple copies of, except for maybe Shield, we'll keep. Less restoration. Could be useful to stash away. Don't think we'll need that many potions of Shield of Faith, just because we have ways to cast it now with our own party members, I guess. Keep a couple of these. But we'll sell some of them. Alchemist Fire, don't know if we need too much of those, but maybe we'll keep them just in case we need the damage type. I guess we'll keep Magic Missile around. And then the rest of this stuff, I think we'll just go ahead and sell that to Oleg. All that other stuff. So maybe we'll talk to Keston Gares first, see where he is. Then we'll go ahead and sell a bunch of this stuff to our dear friend Oleg. Before you stands a heavy-set man with grim, determined features. His weathered face is crossed by several scars, yet they do little to mar his appearance. His gaze is heavy, but he avoids eye contact, as if afraid of unwittingly sharing whatever burden weighs so heavily upon him. Alright, well, I guess enough with the pleasantries. We'll just tell him what's done is done. Keston, I failed to capture Tartuscio alive. He attacked me and was killed.
Well, this is not the best outcome, but I think it will be good enough for Jamandi. Take this as a reward for your help. I'll send word to Restov and let them consider how they might return the favor.
Oh, indeed. I much appreciate it.
Once again, I thank you for your help. I'll remain here until my men recover from their wounds. Meanwhile, we'll help guard the trading post and fight off any bandits should they return. Good luck in all your plans and endeavors.
Well, I appreciate that. We don't have to worry about the bandits coming to terrorize the trading post. We don't have to keep on returning to deal with them. So that's going to save us a lot of time not having to worry about that. And we've all leveled up, of course, after completing quite a few quests here. various things. We'll see what we want to store in the storage here. We have this chest here for that. Dueling sword might be something that we use for our character down the line. Don't think we're going to use a tongi. Masterwork light crossbow might be something we can equip. I'll just go through equipment that we want to equip here real quick before deciding on certain things. And it's taking up a moment to load the inventory, so I don't know if we need to offload some of this stuff real quick. That's a regular light crossbow. Let's equip the Masterwork one. Same for you. Let's do the Masterwork light crossbow. Composite longbow, composite longbow, composite longbow, and composite longbow. So let's see if there's like a Masterwork composite longbow that we have. I don't think that there is. Lots of light crossbows, master long swords, Masterwork dagger, but we already have this agile pick here, so, and she has the cold iron dagger. So yeah, we have some things there. Don't think we need the +1 chain shirt. I don't think any of us is going to wear the +1 chain shirt. Now that we have Shield of Faith prepared, I don't think we're going to need the scroll anymore. Protection from evil, still useful. So is Summon Monster. And we'll just put another healing potion there. You can get one too. Basically any healing potion that's not equipped, I think we'll just have to do without from now on, so that way we can just carry more loot and everything. Guess we can put the other scroll of monster summoning over here and just carry it. Yeah, I don't know if we really need that letter, so we might store it away, but I don't know. What else do we have that we might equip? Amulet of Mighty Fists could be interesting for our character if we finally take a monk level and we decide that maybe some unarmed strikes might be in our future. We'll keep the torches, again, in case we need the fire damage type for anything. Those will be helpful. Anything else? We already have Masterwork Scythe with her. Is there any armor that I want her to equip that might be better? I guess a breastplate is going to be better for her. Does it make any difference on her AC though? It doesn't. But it is less encumbrance and less weight that we have to carry around, so I think I'll just do that for now and sell the chainmail, so that way we're not having as much weight contributing to our inventory, because any equipment that you wear will contribute to your total inventory weight here for encumbrance and what you're able to take away on the world map. And then I guess we'll just stash some potions, I guess, into our stash here. I guess we'll save some of these scrolls because I assume that a wizard is going to be able to learn some of these scrolls. Divine Favor we'll keep. Yeah, I guess some of these scrolls we'll just put away. Don't know why it's doing that with the scroll description there. I don't know if this is going to be all that useful, so we'll just sell that. Bane I might sell because I can cast it in other ways. I guess Bone Shaker, we'll stash that away maybe in case someone can learn it. Same with some of these spells. Mage Armor, we can... anything that we might learn in the future. Don't know if we're going to need those. Protection from Evil Communal could be helpful. Restoration could also be helpful. Shield. Eventually could be. Shocking Grasp, Vanish. Magic Missile, the same thing. We'll keep one of these Enlarged Person potions for Amiri to use. And we'll keep one Mage Armor potion for my character, since they're going with unarmored defense. And Reduced Person, we'll keep one. Remove Blindness. I don't know if we're gonna need that or not. We might just sell it. Same with Remove Curse, Resist Acid. I might keep one in my inventory. I don't know if we'll need it. I might sell that too, maybe. Don't know how common that acid is going to be. Yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and put away the Potions of Lesser Restoration and save them for later. Vanish, can save those for stealth type things. Shield of Faith, I'll keep one of these. And then a lot of these cooking ingredients we're going to go ahead and put in there. Flour, very nice. Eggs, moss, cheese, butter, chocolate. Honey, yes please. Meat, yes please. Onions, I'm just trying to... saving the cooking ingredients for later in the game when we might really need some of the bonuses that might come from some of the recipes that we'll find. We found a couple of them. I think we found 2 so far. But we just want to save them for when we really need them, which won't be for a little while. And you have to kind of look at some of these to make sure that they are a cooking ingredient and not just something you can sell. I wish there were something that was more of a distinction between cooking ingredients and just loot that you can sell. And then anything that's an antiquity type thing, we can also dump these because we don't need them immediately. Ports, I think we'll just sell that. I know that alcohol might maybe have some cooking ingredient type stuff you can do with them. Yeah, I guess I'll just store that away. I don't know if I was supposed to go back and to the kobold side of the caverns and give that to them or not. But we have it now, so we'll just be keeping it. So I think we have all of our cooking ingredients over there. And then all these coins can also go into storage. I don't know why they don't stack. Would be nice if they did. I guess we don't need to keep that many. We'll keep like 9, or we'll keep 9. We'll just have to move about 7 of them. Yep. So we'll keep 9 of them in case we need like fire damage or something. Since we don't have like fireball and spells like that just yet, we'll just have to hold on to them. Don't think I'll need that. I'll put that in storage for now. I don't know if I'm going to be using it yet, so I'll keep it in case I want it. And I think that's it. I don't know if I want to keep the club around. It's nice to have a melee weapon option if we're facing skeletons, but I think we have ways to deal with them now. Because we have a Miri that can just wield a quarterstaff and get in there for a lot of damage, and we can cast grease on them. Alright, Oleg. Alright, so you can just ask him again about the Tuskcutter. It is a giant boar, a terrible beast. He has killed many hunters, and maimed many more. Old Benzin has lost his leg to Tuskcutter, so he has put up a bounty for the animal's head. Alright, well, show me your wares. I have plenty of things to sell you. I don't think I'm going to keep any of that stuff. I'll keep, again, the torches around in case I need fire damage for whatever reason. All of these other things I think I can go ahead and sell now, because I got everything equipped that I think that I want. Don't think that we're going to use the Tongi or any of this gear right here. If we came across someone else that wears heavy armor, then half plate certainly would be useful. I don't know if that's going to be the case, so we're just going to go ahead and sell this stuff off. Offload as much weight as we can and just get as much money as we can, because we'll need it. And before I forget, there was something I think I forgot to buy last time, or I just didn't have the money for it at the time. A bag of holding is definitely something that we want, because this gives us free carry weight, 100 extra pounds to carry loot, which will kind of make up the money that we spend to buy this thing over time. So it's just free extra inventory space to take loot back for everything. So, and it looks like he has some belts of ability score boosting items, which are very, very nice to have. So some of his equipment here that he sells you has gotten a bit better since we returned here. We can also buy full plate. Or full plate +1 basically, and have the best armor that we can potentially get at this point in the game. I might do that actually. Lots of masterwork weapons, nothing is really dancing out at me. So let's do that. Get rid of a lot of this stuff. Topaz ring, come on. Another topaz ring, necklaces and different things. I don't think most of this stuff really shouldn't be that important. It's so yeah, a lot of this stuff is basically just selling fodder. I don't think that we'll need that. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and I think sell this. And we'll sell that. Keep that. I think we just want the money. I don't think we're going to need those potions. We have a way of casting Doom if we really want it. And we have ways of casting Shield of Faith. Ring of Sickening, we'll get rid of that. And we'll just sell the crumpled letter. I don't think that we're really going to need this. If we want to come back and read it, we can come over here to Balkan and then right click on it this way to read it once again. Nope. Take care of that, and all that. Obviously selling stuff is somewhat of a chore in this game, but thankfully it's not too bad, but I wish that it could do things a lot more quickly in terms of selling multiple of the same item here. I think that the emerald, I think we actually need to, I mean, if I'm remembering correctly, there's some kinds of gemstone type items that might be useful later. I don't remember if emeralds or pearls are part of that or not. An emerald is very expensive, obviously. I think we'll just sell the emerald. If we need an emerald later on, we can come back and get one if needed, or we can find another one. Yeah, so lots of gems, alcohol, and many different things here that you just sell for loot. And this is that one lab journal. We don't really care about it beyond the initial encounter that we had with the corpse and the lonely shambling mound. Oh, that's a cooking ingredient. Well, we want to save the milk. We'll have to go and put that away. Sell some more pearls. Sell a lot of this booze and alcohol. Pretty sure that none of this stuff is cooking ingredients, so I'm going to rush through these. What does the hop say? Oh yeah, merchant would pay well for it. Okay. Didn't know if it said something else down there on the bottom that was anything special. Alright, so we have a bag of holding. Do we want to grab anything else while we're here? I guess getting that +1 full plate armor is going to be very helpful. If anything, at least it's going to be helpful for Valerie. And then Harim won't benefit from any dexterity bonus, so we don't need to get full plate for him, since he's already got half plate +1, which is basically just about as good as full plate +1, so I don't think we need to spend money on that. We could get a belt here and have enough money for that. Headband of Alluring Charisma would be interesting to increase my saving throws and a bunch of stuff with that. And to also increase my persuasion checks. I think that might actually be something that's helpful for us. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and do that. We'll grab that. We're giving them 750 gold, but we have plenty of money here. So I think that'll be pretty good for us. So let's go ahead and equip these things that we want. Put on the plate mail. So that's full plate mail plus 1. Yep. Alright, so it's only plus 1 AC, but considering the enemies that we face are going to be tougher, that's still pretty helpful. So what would be the armor class if he just put on this? Or I guess I'm wondering, what's the sell value higher for? Full plate is... Yeah, so the full plate gives them the same AC and doesn't have as much sell price as the half plate, so we can sell the half plate here. And get a pretty decent chunk of money there. And then we put on the headband of Alluring Charisma. Now we're all the way up to 22 Charisma, so that's pretty good. Now we're going to go ahead and take care of leveling up here. Probably getting to the end of the episode here. After we get done leveling up, we might just call it an episode here. Because it's probably a good breaking point for this episode to end it with this. So all we get is channel positive energy at 4th level, which it is helpful, but not going to be as helpful as getting the level in like monk or fighter for the frontline type abilities that we're hoping to have here. So, and we want scaled fists, so that way we can go ahead and get the AC bonus with charisma. And we'll just go ahead and pump charisma here and do the paladin things, since this will help us with to hitting things, but we get the divine smite sort of feature, or the smite evil ability, which can give us the charisma modifier to hit rolls. So for some combats we're still going to be okay, but mainly we just want to be a frontline tank once we get everything going in online. So now we have 3 points, and oh, we have another skill point to put in here. So we're going to put that into mobility, and then we're just going to go all out in persuasion from now on. So now we have 3 mobility for fighting defensively. That should help us. Yeah, and so you don't need any of the prerequisites for them to select them, so you can take crane style here without first having dodge. So we can take crane style now and then get dodge later. And so our AC already went up pretty tremendously just from getting that level in monk. And then, like, I don't know if it's like a monk weapon or if we have to choose something that's like a monk weapon. I know the quarterstaff is a monk weapon, so maybe we can use that for now. attack is still pretty poor, even with a monk weapon. I don't know if there's something that we're missing there. Well, we'll try and make the best of what we've got here, and we'll keep the quarterstaff on Amiri in case we need the blunt option for her. Then again, that being just a +1 weapon might just be enough anyway, so maybe we won't need the quarterstaff from now on. Alright, so I think 1 level on Monk is all we're really going to need for Valerie. We just want the crane style for fighting defensively there. Then we're going to get the tower shield training and the armor training, so things are going to be a bit easier on her for all these heavy armor wearing and tower shield wearing penalties. So this is going to make armor check penalties lower. So they can get, yeah, they can definitely do better as far as skill checks and as far as getting more dexterity with heavier types of armor. I think that she already gets a nice dexterity bonus already, as good as she's going to get with her full plate. But this is going to be very nice because you take less of a penalty for all of your tower shield stuff. Later on, we get some better stuff. Yeah, this is going to be very helpful once we get that. So that way we don't take as much of a penalty on our attack rolls. And since we're already fighting defensively, and she's already getting a penalty on attack rolls, it's going to be very helpful to have that. So we want Constitution just to make her as beefy as possible and to succeed on a lot of those saving throws and just have a bunch of hit points. So we have the ranks of mobility that we want with her, so we'll just go with Perception. And maybe some lore bonuses here. Not too much that we can do with her because of the heavy armor. But maybe some additional religion there might be of help. Alright. And now it's on to Lindsay. Might just continue going in Bard for a little bit. Maybe once she gets to one of these levels, get another Bard talent, get better Inspired Competence. Maybe once we get to this level, we might start going into some other levels to try and make her somewhat of a frontliner if possible. Bit of a tough ask, but it's something we could do with her because she's a halfling and she gets some bonus AC potential. And then you can also do, well, you can't do monk levels and type stuff with her, but you can do still some good things with her because she's not lawful alignment, so she can't be a paladin and she can't be a monk simply due to her alignment, but she can still do some pretty decent things here. And I think I might go with dexterity for her. I don't think that charisma is going to be terribly important. Like, forcing saving throws is somewhat important, but there are some stat boosting items that we can give to her to raise her charisma a little bit. So I think that we're still going to be okay with that. Let's see, we got her mobility up enough to where I'm okay with that. I don't know if athletics is going to be too necessary. Maybe you can put some bits into stealth. And I don't know, knowledge world maybe. Not sure if persuasion is going to be all that needed, except maybe if I wanted to get her into a certain prestige class, like Aldori Sword Lord or something similar to that. So we have some good choices for spells here. Mirror image is interesting. Okay, so that could be a cool defensive spell for her. Can also be good in the future if we decide to get her into melee. Delay poison might be something that we have someone like a cleric take instead. Heroism, on the other hand, seems very helpful. And 10 minutes per level duration is very great. We already can cast Glitter Dust with our main character, so we're not going to get that. But I think Mirror Image is a good defensive spell, especially if we go ahead and have Lindsay here eventually going into a bit of a melee build after getting some bard type stuff. So I think these will be good picks for the party. This will aid the party and this will protect herself. And then a Miri. Time for you to go more into two-handed fighter. Yeah, so that'll be pretty helpful. If we can get a reach weapon with her, that'll also be quite good. I guess we can pump up athletics a bit more, nature, quite nice, and perception, keep doing that. Alright, so pretty simple for Amiri there. We kind of knew what we wanted with her. And I guess we'll just go with Inquisitor levels for her. I don't know how much longer we're going to keep her around. Guess maybe Wisdom might be most important with her because she has some important abilities that somewhat scale with Wisdom there. We'll just keep on going with the lore type checks for her. And some athletics. See, invisibility could be interesting. Protection from alignment communal. This is something that would affect everyone, so that would be pretty helpful. Okay. Oh, resist energy. Yeah, going for I mean, we already have ways to protect from alignment with one of the first level spells, so maybe we don't want to go ahead and use this pick just yet on that. Since we already have a first level spell that can do that, we'll go with Aid and Resist Energy, because that fireball that we dealt with in that fight, the fireball that we dealt with in that fight against Tartusio really wrecked us, so if we have a way to deal with energy type effects, then that can be very, very helpful to have. And I'm sure that's not going to be the first that we see spells like that thrown at us. So Aid's going to be a nice party buff here, and then Resist Energy is just going to be nice to have for particular fights. I mean, the poison protection there could be good too, with that poison protection spell back here with delay poison. But I think that we already have some pretty good Constitution saving throws and ways to increase the saving throws, where I don't think that we're going to really need that quite as much for now. Because we have ways to boost saving throws in preparation for fights. Time for Harem. Do we want to take another fighter level? That is the question. I don't think that we're going to need armor training for that stuff just yet. I think we just wanted the 2 levels for the feats, the proficiencies, and those sorts of things. So we're going to give him some cleric levels now and keep going into that. Religion and perception for you. We just got a mobility before, so that way when he fights defensively he's going to be better. And now we need to prepare spells of Harem, because it doesn't give you the option to prepare your spells at the character creation screen, so we have to do it ourselves. So I guess the key is, we want protection from alignment. They already have protection from alignment for them. But we may not keep them in the party indefinitely, so that's definitely an option. I guess that would also give us some fire resistance. I don't know, maybe Stunning Barrier as a self buff could be helpful for some fights. But he has a pretty good save DC, so I think Stunning Barrier could be useful in some fights if we need to just buff up a little bit. Maybe Bless we don't really need, because Lindsay has the ring that can cast it for us. So maybe just some buffing type spells might be better. Protection from Law just isn't very useful. If it was Protection from Alignment, we could take that as a domain spell, but we're kind of screwed on the domain spells because True Strike isn't the most useful, because Harem's more of a defensive type frontliner. So this might help him hit with 1 attack in a fight, and then after that the spell is basically over and done with. So not my favorite kind of spell. So yeah, we'll take those, and then we're going to head back in here and put the milk away as our cooking ingredient there that we forgot to put away. Alright, let's put the milk in there. Is there anything else I want to put in there? Quarterstaff will probably just sell, because I don't think I'll need blunt weapons at this point. I can go with the options that I have. These are things that are probably going to be helpful. I might sell the Bane Scroll, I guess. I don't know if I'll need that. And you know what, whatever. I'll just go and put this on and see if it comes in handy at all. I am a monk and I could make unarmed strikes, so maybe it'll come in handy at some point. And it weighs next to nothing, so... Well, it's nice to finally get a lot of that loot off of our hands, so our inventory isn't filled to the brim. Show me your wares. Get rid of the quarterstaff, get rid of Bane. I think that's all we're going to need to sell. Alright, and I think that's about all we're going to be doing for today. I have almost enough money to where I could get another one of these stat boosting items, but I'm sure that we'll be able to find more at some point. The charisma one I think will be good enough for us. So I'll go into here and check out the monk stuff, just to kind of get a quick idea of the monk attacks here. Okay, let's see what it says about unarmed strikes. I guess, I don't know if I have to be unarmed completely for the unarmed strikes to take effect. Because I know that in Dungeons and Dragons you can have a weapon and still make unarmed strikes with a different hand or your feet or something like that. But maybe it needs to be a monk weapon, and the weapon I have now isn't a monk weapon. So okay, so I have the crane style now. I'll go ahead and put this over here with my fighting defensively. Maybe I can get into the thick of things now. Don't think I'm going to be charging with fighting defensively, so I'll keep this stuff over on the left. And so the AC is going to be halfway decent when we finally get back to doing stuff. And so I think that's going to be it for today, and I'm going to call it an episode here. It's been quite a while of an episode, but we have gotten quite a few things done, finally. We were able to defeat Tartusio, and the jig was up, and we learned that he manipulated the kobolds to start a war between them and the mites, and we were able to put an end to that war, despite the fact that, unfortunately, we had to kill many kobolds in the process, because we had to defeat them sometime. We had to get the relic to even get into the chambers, so we were kind of forced to fight kobolds there. But eventually we were able to end the bloodshed between the mites and the kobolds, so maybe they'll be able to live in peace now. They leave us alone, we'll leave them alone. They stop robbing people on the road. We won't just sentence them under the law to death or something like that. So all's well that ends well, but unfortunately there are more sinister forces at play. Tartusio was able to send something through a portal, a long, thin artifact of some sort, to his masters, we assume in Pitax, as a Pitaxian spy, and he was, unbeknownst to our player character, resurrected by an unknown force of some kind, an unknown person that seems to be quite powerful. maybe pulling strings behind the scenes that I'm sure that we're going to figure out at some point later in the game. And so we finally returned to Oleg's trading post to return the good news to Keston Gares, who is from Restov and Jamandi Eldori's mansion that we talked to several times before, and told him the news that we had defeated Tartushio. We weren't able to bring him back alive, but we did end up taking care of him. And now we are going to probably take care of a few side mission type quest things, and then also try and deal with the Stag Lord at some point, which we're still itching to do, and maybe talk to our companions a bit more and find out why Miri wants to kill that boar so badly, that tusk gutter thing. So thank you all for joining me for this yet again another lengthy episode, and I hope that you've enjoyed it, even though some things go a bit slowly with inventory management and selling things to merchants, of course. But I appreciate everyone's patience and joining me for the journey. And I hope that you all, again, have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend if you're celebrating it over the weekend break. So take care, everyone, and have a great day.